What is going on, guys? Welcome to the first tutorial in the series that I've been waiting for so long to teach you guys. This is going to be my favorite series of all time by far, because in this series we're going to be learning how to create games in Java. Now, this is the reason I've been teaching you guys Java, and these tutorials are going to start out pretty intermediate and kind of advanced. So if you don't know Java, I recommend, actually you need to go check out my Java tutorials. It's like an 80 part series, and once you're good with that, you're ready to move on to this next step: how to create games in Java. Now, what we're going to be creating is full screen games, such as games kind of like Super Mario Brothers, and then later we're going to be getting into 3D games, and this is like first person shooters. Well, they aren't going to look as cool as Modern Warfares and stuff, but if you'll get the point of that, how to use 3D graphics to interact with a Java 3D class and create 3D games in Java. And this is going to be awesome. I'm going to give you guys a bunch of tutorials, probably over 100 tutorials on this, and by the end you're going to be an awesome Java game developer. So the first thing that we need to learn is, aside from all the basics that you guys already should know, is something called threads. Now, what a thread is on your computer is it allows you to do two tasks at once. So instead of having all your tasks in a row, and this would be like a single line at the DMV, it can go kind of slow, and to make it easier, Java made something called threads. What a thread would be is to take that line at the DMV and split it up into 3 separate lines so that you can get 3 things running at the same time. And I said 3, but it's actually as many as your computer can handle. So that way your whole computer program goes faster and it can do multiple tasks at the same time. So if you're saying, alright, I know what a thread is now, it lets you do 2 things at once. So how exactly do you create a thread? Well, in order to create a thread, the most common way, or at least what we're going to be doing, is you need to implement implements runnable. And what this means, this runnable interface right here, it takes a method called the run, and there's only one method in the runnable class, and this is the run method. So whenever we create our thread, the method run, and that's what you're going to be seeing right here. The type Apple must implement the inherited abstract method runnable run. So whenever you create a thread, this method run is automatically going to run. So if you had something called print out hello world and you started your thread, without even calling this run method, it's going to print out hello world. So let's go ahead and do some stuff to our Apple class. We're going to be treating this as a thread class. Now let's go ahead and make a string variable called name, an integer variable called time, and this is going to be the length. This is going to be the name of your thread, the length of time it pauses, pretty much, and just a random r, and set this equal to new random. And if you can't see before, I already imported the random class right here, so we can use random numbers, and this is going to be just for demonstration of the threads. So now let's go ahead and make a constructor, public Apple, or whatever you name your class, and for my argument I'm going to take the name of the thread, and we're going to be naming it later on, but let's just go ahead and set the name equal to s, and this is going to be the parameter we passed in, and let's also set that time and set this equal to r, or whatever you named your random object. Next, int, and put like 999. So the time is going to be anywhere in milliseconds between pretty much 0 time and 1 second. This is milliseconds, 1,000 is a second, but let's just go ahead and put 999 because it looks way cooler. So now that we got our constructor, let's go ahead and implement that run method. So let's go public void run. This isn't going to take any parameters, and again, like I said, whenever we start our thread, this is a code that's automatically going to run, so we don't need to call this method explicitly. So let's go ahead and try, and let's just go ahead and catch everything. Get this out of the way. Catch, if I can type right, exception E, and we won't handle it because we're lazy. So what do we want to try to do as soon as we start our thread? Go ahead and system out. Actually, we don't need to end at that. indenting is for suckers. So printf, actually you probably should, I just don't have enough room. Printf, put the name of the thread, which is %s, is sleeping for %d, which would be the time. And let's go ahead and move to a new line. Might want to do it right there, that'd probably be helpful. Let's put name, time, make sure we don't get any errors. So the first thing it's going to do is print out a little statement. The name of the thread is sleeping for and give you the time. Well, that statement's all nice and pretty, but we actually need to make good on our promise. So let's go ahead and put thread, which is a thread, the current thread, and put sleep. And for our time, the sleep parameter is how long do you want to sleep for. So if you put this 1000, it will sleep for 1 second. If you put 5000, it will sleep for 5 seconds. But since we want each of these threads to sleep randomly, we're going to go ahead and put time here. And this is going to give us a random number, whooping cough, from 0 to 1 second. So each of these threads, whenever we create it, it's going to sleep randomly from 0 to a second. And this is just to demonstrate a point in my next tutorial. And now, after it's done sleeping, let's just put system out printf. And for printf, let's just go ahead and what do we want to write? Let's just put the name of thread. S is done. And for our arguments, let's just put name. So now what we have is pretty much a run method, and actually I'm gonna be explaining all this and finishing it up in the next tutorial. So I know this doesn't look like much, but I need to teach you guys about threads because they are used a ton in games for stuff like if you have a lot of different things going on at once. Pretty much whenever you build a huge program, you want to use threads so it can run more effectively. And in the next tutorial, I'm going to be clearing all this up for you, and we are finally getting started on game development. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out the next tutorial, and I will see you then.